John took all his money from his savings account. He spent $108 on a radio and 5/9 of what was left on presents for his friends. Of the remaining money, John put 5/6 into a checking account, and the last remaining $80 was left to charity. How much money did John originally have in his savings account? We are going to solve this problem visually. I like to solve fraction problems visually because they make more sense to me. And one more thing, since they're talking about two fractions and they're talking about a fraction, then a fraction of the leftover, whenever I see problems like that, I look at the denominators of the two fractions that we are talking about. And I am going to make a rectangle that's 6/9, and I'm going to use it to represent John's money, at least part of his money, okay? And you will understand what I mean. Here, I have a 6/9 array or a rectangle that's 6 units by 9 units. I'm going to use this to represent a part of John's money, the part that's unknown. I know John had at least $108, but he actually had more than $108. So I'm going to assume John had $108 that he spent on his radio, and he had some more, right? And that more is my 6/9 rectangle. One, two, three, four, five, six. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Now let's see what else we can do. So he spent, this is the leftover money he had after he bought the radio. That according to the question, he spent 5/9. How do we represent that? 5/9 would be 5 out of 9. This much money was spent on gifts for his friends. The pink part represents the amount of money he used to buy gifts. Then what happened? Of the money remaining, so we're talking about the white parts, out of the white portions, he spent 5/6. He put 5/6 in a checking account. So let's try to shade that yellow. So this is 1/6, 2, 3, 4, 5. This much went to his checking account. Yellow. Now, what happened? Well, he was left with $80. So these two white squares must represent $80. Now, if all of this, all of this represent $80, each square must be worth 20 because 80 divided by 4 is 20, $20 to be specific. So each square is worth 20 bucks. We're almost done. Now, what do they want us to find? How much money did John originally have in his savings account? Well, if each square, let's write it down. Each square is worth $20. Each square is worth $20. So it's an important finding. Each square is worth $20. Now, I need to find how much money John had originally. Well, if you count all the squares here, remember it was 6/9, that's 54. So your answer will be 54 squares times 20 plus 108. So let's do that. 108 plus 54 times 20. Each square is worth 20. So 54 squares will be worth what? Let's see. 54 is 108. I think that's correct. Let me double check. That sounds about right. And when you add them, what do you get? One. All right, let's do that. Let's find it. $108 plus 1,080. And that turns out to be this number. Let me write it down here. And that's our answer. Let me just double check and make sure I didn't mess up. So actually I did. Let's fix that. Sounds about right. Okay, so he had originally $1,188. I hope that helps.